Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk. So let's do a little sports review. I haven't been really on any sports following lately. I've kind of move my content more towards dealing with the individual athlete and their issues, like I stated before, kind of like a Bob Costas type deal. Remember how Bob Costas used to always do like the interest piece about athletes and stuff going on in their life? So I moved kind of towards that, but I still want to keep people informed of what's going on in sports, you know. So I'll just do a brief overview of the things that I saw that interest me. Well, first and foremost, I want to talk about LaMelo Ball. Uh, they played the OKC Thunder last night in their first opening little preseason scrimmage or whatever, and LaMelo left off where he started. He had 16 points, 9 rebounds, and quite a few assists, which is right around where he left off. And you can tell that he's been working on his body over the off season. He's looking stronger, looking real healthy, looking very confident. Shout out to LiAngelo Ball. He didn't quite make the team, but he's still working to get him a spot somewhere on somebody's roster. So shout out to LiAngelo. Shout out to Lonzo. Lonzo debuted as the starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls. And so we're going to focus on LaMelo right now because that's just my dude. And I'm going to talk about him. So Melo came out and he showed exactly why Borregos and them should have given him the keys earlier last season. But you can't really fault somebody for not knowing what they fully have in a player. And now that they fully know what they have in LaMelo Ball, they don't have any issues giving them the keys. We got rid of Tebe. We got rid of him. So that little bromance is gone. And now there's no more interference with LaMelo actually running this team. So that's a great thing. Now, excuse me, y'all. Water went down the wrong pipe. Quick side note: when you get up in the morning, make sure you're drinking water. I start out my day. I try to start out my day drinking water, making sure that I got a good foundation to start my day with. There's no other liquid that is going to replace water. And water makes up 75% of our body. So it is essential that you replace the water that's leaving your body with, more water. All right. So back to what I was saying. And LiAngelo Ball. LiAngelo is definitely a star. He can definitely become an all-star this season if he stays consistent and continues to grow and win games. Of course, this is what he's there for, and so I'm excited to see what LaMelo's going to bring this season. The kid's just getting started, and he's going to change the game. Definitely going to make it more exciting to watch. On to my next thing, we're going to talk about the WNBA and the single elimination playoff games. Now, I think this is doing a disservice to the ladies because, for one thing, the less games they play, the less pay they're getting. So that's cutting out a lot of extra checks that they could be getting for playoff games. And it also it also really does not give them the opportunity to compete, because we see how the playoff get. Personally me, I don't even watch sports until they get into the playoffs, because that's when they really become exciting, whether it's football, basketball, whatever the case may be. I mean, I'll watch a few games that interest me, but for the most part, I don't sit down and watch football, basketball, or any other sport until they get into their playoffs and semifinals and stuff like that, because that's when you see the real heart and the real intensity, and that's where the excitement really lies. And so I feel like some single elimination playoffs is definitely not beneficial to these ladies. You can do best 3 out of 5. You don't have to do a 7 game series. You can shorten it up, something like that. And we can generate more revenue for the WNBA. People can get more for their money, and these ladies can get some extra checks, man. So that's just how I feel about the single elimination playoff games. Let's quit treating these ladies like college or high school. Let's quit implementing these college and high school rules for these ladies. They worked hard to get to the professional level so that they could be regarded and treated as such. And so the the WNBA needs to quit shortchanging them. This is very apparent. We've already talked about the wage disparity, and earlier this year we talked about how the WNBA wasn't getting enough notoriety, but now it seems as though they're starting to get more notoriety. They're starting to get more of their gyms filled up and things of this nature. So we should see a rise in the pay for these WNBA players coming, if not this year, next year sometime, because it's a proven fact. If you look at the stats, that the revenue for the WNBA has risen since the light has been shined on the lack of it. And so I really like to see these ladies get what they deserve and get a lot more so that they will be able to have a more fair wage for what they do for us. And I'm waiting to see it take place because it's going to come sooner or later. We just have to be patient. So now let's talk about Washington. Oh man, this is something that I like really, really avoid talking about right now because they do this to me every time, man. They have you so excited in the preseason, and they just show you all the flashy glitz and glamour, and then you get to the games and they're right back to the same old mediocre play. Um I kind of I kind of liken it to a dude who's always bragging about what he can do and always have all the outward appearance stuff. He got all the nice clothes, got all the jewelry and accessories and a nice car, but when it comes down to the performance, he's straight garbage. And that's how I feel a lot of times with Washington. They always oversell and underperform. They got it switched around backwards. You're supposed to undersell and overperform, but they always oversell and underperform every single year. I guess that's the curse that's been placed on that team. I don't know if it's an NFC East thing, because the whole entire NFC East seems to do the same thing. They will oversell, oversell, oversell like they're going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then they'll come into the season and just go straight kaput. So right now we're sitting at 2-2. The Cowboys are sitting at 3-1. The Giants are sitting at, I believe, 2-2 as well, and the Eagles are at 1-3. Um, Not exactly where I wanted to be right now. My prediction was, let's see, Redskins first, Cowboys second, Giants third, and Eagles last. So I was right about the Eagles so far. Um, but in the NFC East, it was said before that it's a grab for the NFC East, because at any time one team can get hot and the other teams have a hard part of their schedule, and the whole division rankings will change in a matter of a week or two. And so it's always up for grabs until the last few games of the season, and then it'll kind of pan out who's going to be where. Um, As far as conference games, you have the Giants and the Cowboys playing this weekend. So either way it go, um, somebody's going to be dropping a run. But my focus is on Washington and us winning because we barely scratched out a victory against Atlanta, who was just thrashed. I mean, totally thrashed by Philly in week one. And so if Philly just thrashed them like that, now we know the first game, people are just being tested out and trying to work things out. I understand that, but the way that Philly just decisively beat them, and the way that we struggle to beat them, even though we do have a second string quarterback again, because Fitzpatrick is going to be out for at least 8 to 10 weeks with the hip injury. Um, we always seem to be in some type of situation like this. We always have an issue with quarterbacks. We always have just struggling in positions where we shouldn't be struggling. So I don't know what it is with Washington. I hope they get it together, man, and pull out at least a 500 season because the way they're playing, they look like the Washington of old. All that hype from the off season was just that hype. Defense that was highly touted is being ran over. That really irks me because when we play Dallas, if you can't contain Pollard and Zeke, bro, they're gonna have a record day on Washington defense. So I hope Washington to get it together, man. Our division is always like a roller coaster ride. So we'll see. Next thing I want to go into is boxing for a little bit because we've had some things going on in boxing that have been kind of disturbing and kind of solidifying my point on the heavyweight division. So you have Mike Tyson, who said he would fight one of the Paul brothers for $100 million, which you know right now isn't really far fetched. And see, there's a lot of things that goes into this whole entire Mike Tyson and Logan or Jake Paul fight, whichever one. Um, First off, the money thing. $100 million is a lot of money. We all know that Mike Tyson, he's had his struggles with finances over the years. He's lost a lot, and he's been on this big comeback thing over the past few years. And a person of that nature would definitely set him up for a while. I know Mike has other ventures going on, but you know, even if they split 100 million, $50 million is a good little haul in. And he definitely wouldn't get that trying to go back into boxing uh, after a retirement and being in his 60s. So that's why you see a lot of these guys who are retired fighters coming back and in this league or this area of boxing that the Paul brothers have opened up, and they're making bigger purses than the actual professional boxers who are active. Which leads me into my next conversation because you have Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury finally about to fight. Deontay Wilder is still in denial about being beat. Tyson Fury is Tyson Fury. He's gotten over his COVID issue, his alleged COVID issues, and this fight is about to happen. Now, after Anthony Joshua was just destroyed by Usyk, now we have another factor that's going to be thrown into this little battle. So whoever wins between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury is going to have to face um, Usyk, and so Alexander Usyk is by all rights the champ. And to unify the belts, he's going to have to fight the winner of this fight. And I see this as being Deontay Wilder's determining fight because we seen him in adversity and we seen him come out of adversity to win in that, well, yeah, that first fight with Tyson Fury. The second fight is questionable because of all of the accusations and because of all of the scandal around it. It just don't feel like a good, clean win. And so they're running it back for the third time just to put all of those accusations and all of the questioning to bed. So the real interest in this fight is just to see if it was a fluke or if Deontay Wilder can come back. And if he can come back from this and redeem himself from this, it won't reflect too bad on him, but people are still going to remember that he didn't take it well when he lost. He's not a good loser, and he has these delusions that he's unbeatable, or whatever the case may be, that could ultimately hurt him in the long run, because you have so many fighters that have thought more highly of themselves than they should, and that was the crucial mistake in their fight, and they got decimated because of that. So I hope he's not going down that road, because that is the biggest shot to the ego, is when you get beat decisively and there's no denying that you're not as great as you thought you were. So we'll keep an eye out on Deontay Wilder, man, and good luck to him and Tyson Fury on their fight this weekend. I hope nobody gets seriously injured, but I do hope it's a great fight. Um, Lamar Odom has been making a little bit of waves in his little celebrity boxing matches, even though the people he's fought has been like, come on, man. First fight, he fought Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter, bro. First off, Lamar Odom is what, 6'9", 6'10", got a reach of about 86 inches, as opposed to Aaron Carter maybe having a reach of about 60, 68 inches. Come on, man. That was a total mismatch. And then this last fight that he just had against old Johnny Noah, who was one of J Lo's exes. Same deal. Dude was so small, man, and absolutely had no reach compared to Lamar Odom, that Odom just kind of stood back, kept him off of him, and just threw haymakers, and it was sloppy and ugly. But Lamar Odom came out with the win. Somebody better teach that man some form. And who I'm talking about is Lamar Odom. Somebody better teach him some form and some proper technique and some footwork. Because if you get in there with somebody who knows a little bit about boxing, they gonna crumble Lamar Odom. They gonna fold him like one of those church folding chairs. And Benzino said he want to fight him next. Now Benzino, he's a stout dude, but do Benzino have any hands? Do he have any skills in the boxing ring? Because that's really the only chance that he'll have to. Uh, that's the only chance that he's gonna have. So with a tall guy like that, the best thing you can do is get on the inside, because now you've taken all the power out of his punches by being close up on him, and you work his inside until he dropped those elbows to guard those ribs, and then you go ahead and start headhunting. That's boxing 101 with taller, bigger guys. That's how Mike Tyson destroyed taller, bigger guys. And you see the formula always work for him. So, Lamar Odom, just keep on cashing in on your distance, man. Use your reach and stay away, because if you get in there with one of those guys who have some actual power and they catch you on your chin, which I see you leave yourself wide open all the time, and hands down, bro, you gonna get folded. You gonna look like Tito Ortiz. I'm just saying, man. Last thing I want to talk about, I'm going to dip back into football a little bit and talk about the return of Richard Sherman. And Richard Sherman returned with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And, you know, it's good to see Sherm back. But man, you have two very volatile players in your locker room. You have Antonio Brown and you have Richard Sherman. Now, both great players in their own rights, both definitely veterans in the league and have a lot to bring to a team. But what's gonna happen if those personalities ever clash in that locker room? Oh my goodness, man, the sparks are gonna fly. 4th of July in the sky. Um, so I would just keep those dudes on opposite ends of the locker room just for precaution. And who knows, they might just turn out to be the best of friends. But they're just two very strong personalities, man. And I feel like um, they could definitely not mix well like oil and water. But that's just something to keep an eye on, man. And I wish them both the best this season. And this is just kind of wrapping up what I said for today. So let's do a recap. Um, LaMelo Ball had a good showing on his debut as the official leader of the Charlotte Hornets squad. Um, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight coming up this weekend. Good luck to both of you guys. Richard Sherman returned to football, looked pretty good with Tampa Bay. Keep him away from Antonio Brown. Um, Mike Tyson maybe fighting one of the Paul brothers for 100 mil. Hey, Mike, it'll be good to see you knock somebody out again. Logan or Jake, man, y'all crazy. Washington, get it together, man. I'm so sick of y'all always doing me like this. Y'all have all of the flash and stuff like that, but then when it comes down to the performance, you always come up short. Get it together, Washington football team. And WNBA single elimination playoff games. Come on, let's get these ladies more games. Let these ladies get more checks and let them get more exposure, man. Y'all quit treating them like they college or high school. They've earned what level they've gotten to, and they should be treated as such. All right, so that's my sports mashup, and I'll probably be back on here if something cool pops in my mind to talk about today. So thank you for everybody coming on, man. And I appreciate everything that y'all do for me, man. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the donations. All of the stuff goes toward building up the page, man. And this is your boy D Mac. You know what I say? Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.